Isaku moves to a new home with her caregiver, Yudo Kaya. She meets her Yakuza boss grandfather, but she cries for her lost parents. Kaya promises to be like her parents, even if they aren't related. Isaku falls in love with him because of those words. In the present, Isaku starts high school. Kaya is happy and treats her like his own child. Her grandfather disagrees, but she chose the far school for a normal life away from Yakuza. Isaku wants love, not a crush on a Yakuza member. Isaku enters college and wants a normal life. Kaya surprises her there, and she scolds him for acting like a student. He bribed the school for her and got her grandfather's permission. She threatens him to stay away. Flashback to Isaku's childhood when others avoided her for being Yakuza. Kaya talks to her in class. Two boys ask if they're together. Kaya intimidates them, causing a scene. The teacher asks for class representatives, and Kaya volunteers them. They're assigned roles for sports day. Kaya helps Isaku overcome communication issues. He hugs her, calling her cute. The next day, Isaku asks Yakuza members to play volleyball. Kaya beats one for upsetting her. Isaku refuses his help, wanting to improve on her own. After practice, teammates praise Isaku. She's motivated to train harder and gain Kaya's respect. Isaku scolds Kaya for smoking inside the school. During a match, she hurts her finger but scores a point using her foot. Kaya takes her to the infirmary. Post-match, Kaya worries she doesn't need him anymore. Isaku reassures him, saying he's the center of her world. Isaku and Kaya are in their classrooms. Tamaru, a boy, talks to Isaku when Kaya goes to the restroom. Tamaru asks for Isaku's Instagram and she agrees. Kaya hears them and gets mad. He tells Isaku to stay away from Tamaru, but she tells him to calm down. Later, we find out Isaku likes Kaya secretly. She tries to stop liking him and starts talking to Tamaru. Kaya sees them texting and tries to block Tamaru, but Isaku stops him. Kaya leaves the room. Tamaru invites Isaku to karaoke with his friends and she agrees. Next day, Isaku sneaks out to karaoke. Tamaru's friends smoke, drink, and kiss. Tamaru tries to kiss Isaku, but she's not interested. Kaya comes in, knocks Tamaru out, and takes Isaku away. Isaku is mad at Kaya in the car. Kaya says he won't accept any man in her life because he doesn't want anyone to take her from him. Kaya gets a bad grade on a test and says grades don't matter in real life. Isaku gets upset and convinces him to study for a retake. She offers to teach him. Isaku tutors Kaya in the school library. Some classmates join, and Kaya's classmates ask if they're dating. Kaya says never, breaking Isaku's heart. In the next days, Kaya studies hard and passes the exam. He asks for a reward and says he wants to kiss Isaku. She blushes, refuses the kiss, and Kaya suggests spending a day together as a reward. Isaku agrees. Isaku prepares for their day out, and Kaya cooks for her. They go to the zoo and have a great time. On the way home, Kaya brings up the kiss request. He apologizes and Isaku says it's okay. She gets closer to Kaya. Isaku expresses her approval for a kiss from Kaya. When he approaches her, however, she changes her mind. When Isaku runs away, Kaya is attacked by a mysterious man. However, Kaya shoots him and his bodyguards come to his help. Isaku returns at this point in time, worried for Kaya's safety. Soon after, Kaya walks in on Isaku waiting for him. She tells him to forget that she consented to him kissing her when he returns. Kaya now refrains from bringing it up out of respect for her. In preparation for a school excursion trip, students are told to form small groups. Following this, a group lets Kaya and Isaku join them. Isaku feels incredibly thrilled to be a part of a group. Murayama-kun makes an effort to befriend Isaku during the class trip. Kaya, however, flings a knife at him and ultimately discourages him from approaching Isaku. Even though Isaku disapproves of his actions, she chooses to overlook them. Isaku and her roommates are later seen together in a room. They all head to the locker room because one of her roommates left her phone in there. Isaku meets Kaya during this time. As a consequence, they wind up chatting with one another. When a group of kids comes in to change, Kaya and Isaku take cover in the same washroom. The following scene shows the students participating in beach games. Isaku learns that one of the classmates has forgotten her sunscreen and offers to lend hers instead. However, While Isaku is alone in the room, two men end up kidnapping her. Kaya searches the beach for Isaku but has no luck. When he checks her room, he too finds no sign of her. This leads him to discover that two men were aimlessly strolling around the spot. He ends up blaming himself for her abduction. The Kodengumi gang kidnaps Isaku. Kaya follows the car to save her. After a fight and the car goes into the water, Kaya rescues Isaku. When they return, the teacher punishes Kaya and Isaku. While others enjoy fireworks, they're told to sit and write an apology. Isaku is upset as she wanted a regular teenage experience. Kaya tries to take his books, but Isaku discovers he planned for someone else to do his work. She scolds him and asks him to study together. Isaku makes a deal, and Kaya agrees, asking for a reward. Kaya wants Isaku to wear her swimsuit. He has a small pool and barbecue ready. Kaya explains he arranged it since they missed out on the outing. Isaku has fun in the pool while Kaya grills meat. Later, Kaya joins her in the pool. Isaku is on a break from school and feels bored and lonely without others, especially Kaya. She goes to Luka and Kanga, offering to help, but they say Kaya wouldn't like it. Kaya then invites Isaku to a local festival to help with her boredom, and she agrees after thinking about it. At the festival, Isaku's classmates make mean comments about her. Kaya steps in, holds her hand, and pretends to be her boyfriend. They walk around together, holding hands. Isaku wants to win a stuffed animal that looks like Kaya in a competition. Kaya wins it for her when she can't do it herself. The next day, Isaku spends time with her friends Ando and Katsuki, having a great time together. Isaku has trouble sleeping, and Kaya notices the stuffed animal he won for her in her bed. He holds her while she sleeps. Isaku meets Tanuki and his grandfather for the first time. We learn that Tanuki's grandfather and Isaku's grandfather have been friends for a long time. Tanuki acts strangely towards Isaku, making her instantly dislike him. The next day, Tanuki starts going to Isaku's school. Isaku's friends, Ando and Katsuki, try to make Isaku and Kaya play Juliet and Romeo in a play. Tanuki takes the role of Romeo, making Kaya secretly upset, trying not to show it for Isaku's sake. During a play practice, Isaku struggles, admitting she's never acted before. She doesn't like Tanuki, but she tries to be polite. As class representatives, Kaya and Isaku stay after practice to sort out any issues. They end up practicing the play and getting closer. Tanuki walks in on them. Kaya and Isaku share an intimate moment after class. Mikio, on the other hand, walks in on the two of them. Following that, he probes further to find out if the two are romantically involved. However, Isaku and Kaya insist they were just acting out a scene. The following day, the class continues to practice for the play. For their upcoming costume rehearsal, Isaku has donned the costume of Juliet and Mikio that of Romeo. On the other hand, Kaya is portrayed as a supporting character in the play. During the play, Mikio keeps getting on Isaku and Kaya's nerves. He picks up on the fact that they're passionate about each other. He seems to take pleasure in causing trouble and will stop at nothing to put obstacles in their way. While rehearsing for the play, Isaku does a poor job. Kaya glosses over the reality of her performance. Nonetheless, Mikio tells her it as it is, how poor her performance was. Following that, he offers to stay behind and give her a hand with her practice. The group leaves the school to return home after practice. Mikio places a knife on Isaku's neck. On the other hand, Kaya is aiming his gun at Mikio. Before, Mikio threatened Isaku with a knife. Then, he threatens them and tells Kaya and Isaku to get into his car. Mikio takes them to a storage place, ties up Kaya, and threatens to do bad things to Isaku. But Isaku fights back, kicking him. Kaya frees himself and attacks Mikio. Isaku asks him not to, saying Mikio has to act in the school play. Now, it's right before the school play. Mikio, the main character, is missing. Suddenly, he shows up just as Kaya offers to be Romeo. They suggest continuing the play as planned. But during the play, Mikio and Kaya switch roles. When Kaya unexpectedly plays Romeo with Isaku, everyone is surprised. This improves Isaku's Juliet performance, and she goes off script to kiss Kaya on stage. Later, Kaya asks for a kiss again. Isaku says the play is over. Kaya kisses her hands and says lines from the play. Kaya and Isaku did an amazing job in the school play. Their performance was a big hit, and now everyone knows them, making the whole school feel romantic. During the closing ceremony, Isaku talks with Mikio one more time. Mikio then leaves them alone, saying he loves both of them and that they brought a lot of joy to his life. Isaku thanks Mikio for helping her realize her true feelings for Kaya. Later that day, Kaya's friend Kaori visits the school. Isaku doesn't like it, especially because she noticed Kaori's scent on Kaya before. After Kaori leaves, Isaku asks Kaya if Kaori is his girlfriend. Kaya says no, and he gets close to Isaku, who asks him to stop. Finally, Kaya admits he doesn't know how long he can keep everything together. Isaku and Kaya share a tender exchange. She tells him not to proceed when he gets too close. Then Kaya explains to her that he's just like a dog. He stays put when she instructs him to. However, he warns her that he can't keep his urges under control forever. After returning home, Isaku finds herself consumed by thoughts of what Kaya mentioned. She interprets this as confirmation of his feelings for her. Trying to make up her mind about dating Kaya, who is a gang member, is giving her the willies. Isaku sends a message to Kaya's friend Kaori later that evening. The next day, she extends an invitation to Isaku to meet with her. Isaku learns all there is to know about Kaya from Kaori when they meet. Even though Kaya was solely interested in Isaku, she admits that they slept together. When Isaku returns home, she has dinner with Kaya. Following this, she goes to his room, where he proudly displays the cherished mementos he has accumulated. She then tells him that he's free. When he asks her to explain, she tells him that he's free to do what he wants to her. Isaku yet again stops Kaya. Isaku shares her true feelings with Kaya. Right after, he jumps on her, making her confused and asking him to stop. Kaya says he feels the same, but Isaku, upset by his actions, tells him to stop jumping on her. The next day, Isaku acts oddly at school, telling her friends about confessing to Kaya and feeling disappointed. Her friend suggests talking to Kaya about her feelings. Later, a girl from another group expresses love for Kaya and asks for a kiss, but Isaku interrupts, causing the girl to leave. Isaku is clearly upset by Kaya's behavior. She tries to convince herself that she knew Kaya was strange before confessing. She goes home without Kaya. Kaya contacts Isaku's friends while she's talking with them. When he meets them, he treats them at a restaurant and talks about the incident. They are surprised by his revelation but understand he expresses love differently. They help him realize his mistake. Kaya and Isaku take the bus home from school. In their car, the ride is silent, and Isaku wonders if Kaya finds her childish. While driving with Kaya, Isaku hesitates about sharing her true feelings. She wonders if their relationship can be fixed. The car ride is so uncomfortable, the silence feels painfully sharp. Isaku and Kaya exchange silent glances. Memories with Kaya flood back to Isaku, from the first time they met to the day he saved her. Her feelings for Kaya overcome her doubts. Deep in thought, Kaya rushes, unlocks a door, and takes Isaku to a room. He reveals a tattoo of a tiger under a peony flower. The sight of Isaku inspired him to get the tattoo. Kaya gives Isaku a blade and asks her to mark his back. He wants a symbol of their connection. Isaku makes a scratch, and Kaya promises to protect her as his lover. Afterward, Isaku and Kaya go to the rooftop and spend quality time together. The season ends with a kiss between them.